we go. Welcome to Magi Monday. Today we're here to talk about the very playful, the spiritual, the creative card of finances, the Jack of Diamonds. I have a million things to say about this card, but first, let me introduce myself. My name's Andrea Blythe. I'm the traveling magi of Let Love Rise, where every week this year I am bringing the energy of the week with the card associated with the week and the season. Because when we are looking at a deck of playing cards, we are looking at an astrological calendar that is represented seasonally through each of the suits. We're in fall season, the suit of the diamond, and this is week 11, the Jack. And today, I have a very fun guest to introduce you to. She is, in many ways, a very warm presence in my life because all Jack of Diamonds to me represent the sun. So please give a warm welcome to my guest, a Jack of Diamonds, 4th of July birthday, Miss Korenna Aster of Blue Heron Holistic Health. She is a sidereal and Chinese astrologer practicing Eastern medicine. Welcome to the show, Korenna.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Yeah,
Appreciate the
I'm
warm
so glad you're.
welcome.
Yeah, and what I love. There's so many things I love, but what I love about having you as a guest today is that you are a true embodiment in many ways of the energy of the country, the United States. You were born on the 4th of July. Would you please share your two Magi cards?
Yeah, my first card is the Jack of Diamonds, as she just said, and then my second is the King of Clubs.
Yes. And so, having these two cards, part of what I'd like to do today in our conversation with you is also just like see what part of you is the Jack of Diamonds and what part is the King of Clubs. And really, if we think about these two cards, the Jack of Diamonds represents the salesperson's card. It's often referred to that creativity, independence, and it is all around allowing the financial flow into our life. But the 4th of July birthday, as shared with the United States, also has the master of the mind, of knowledge, of understanding, and big ideas. And so it's sort of like pulling apart what are these two energies, how they balance together to create the magnificent cocktail that is not just the United States of America, but also you here, Korenna. And what I want to start off by saying about the Jack of Diamonds is that it is such a creative card. It is creative in the sense that all Jacks are considered creative. You can go back and listen to the Jack of Hearts and the Jack of Clubs. And now we're in season 3, the fall season, the Jack of Diamonds. It represents creativity, but above and beyond just the essence of all Jacks having a creative gift. You've got two karma cards. I'm going to show these here for you right now. And I'm not sure if you're aware of these cards as your karma. The Three of Spades is your first karma card, meaning that you in this lifetime are giving some energy for creative ways of, work and around your work and your health. And then the wind beneath your wings, the second karma card is the Jack of Clubs, the card of mental creativity. So you're surrounded by creativity. So let me start there. What has been your journey, your personal journey with creativity, and perhaps even how it shows up for you nowadays in business?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, I mean, I started when I started my business, almost 13 years ago, I started a newsletter pretty right away. And I was not very good at writing initially, but I think I became a pretty good writer.
Mhm.
I really enjoy it, more than anything, but I definitely have improved over the years. So that's one thing. Yeah, I also do some photography on the side. I sometimes include that in my
Hmm.
newsletter. So I'm just, or like in my marketing. So I, want to mention that. And it's just also a big joy in my life to just be in nature and photo whatever I'm seeing. And but yeah, with business, I mean, I feel like, yeah, that's definitely one of the things I've been really creative with creating new classes all the time. In fact, I have noticed that I get bored with having the same class too often. And that
That's
just,
funny.
I can't, at some point, I'm like, I just can't do it again. Like, it doesn't matter how cool it was. I got to do something new. Like, there's just,
Interesting.
you know.
Yeah. No, that makes all kinds of sense. Yeah. And one of the things that you said twice in that, like with your creativity, is the joy. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that is so important, especially when you're looking at this Three of Spades karma card, because the threes are these creative cards, and when they're not being used to express some creative aspect of yourself, it transmutes into worry and indecision. Can you, you're just raising your eyebrows on that. Can you speak to that? Have you seen like a role that if you like do you even do you see this connection? Is this something that you feel? And this is part of what I am doing my best to help people understand, particularly if you have a strong influence of a three, is that we all have worry, but the combination between using that worry or that indecision to fuel specifically your work and your creative ideas and to create something new. So
Mm.
like worry, creativity. Do you see how those work together?
Yeah, I don't, might have to think about it a little bit more, but I would say that actually, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I just lost my train of thought. So,
No, that's totally fair. So it's just something like I know that you have studied these cards for about a year, maybe a little bit over with me. You were
yeah.
in the astrology and the numerology of the Magi, which was a course that I offered last year, and you followed that. And I think part of it is your passion as an astrologer as well. So I want to say, like, when I see you and your work, like, there are so many avenues, so many facets of how you put yourself out there and how you can be of service to people. I see
Mm,
that in many ways as a huge creative, in,
mm,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's funny because even I had known about the Magi astrology about, I don't know, gosh, I want to say like at least 15 years ago from a friend, and then I'd forgotten about it until we
Wow.
met, right? And then I was like, oh, okay. So I had to like reread it all and yeah, but I've called myself like a Jill of all trades because I'm always like, there's like so many things I want to do. And it was like so hard for me to, even when I had my, I call it like when I was 30, I kind of had my first midlife crisis or whatever, where I was just like, okay, now what do I do with my life? Like my
Right.
career is I'm having huge burnout already at age 30 and got to do something else, and brought me into the healing world. But yeah, so it was yeah, basically I yeah, had so many things I was like I could do or wanted to do. I'm like, I mean, what area do I pick? Like, and even still, like my business coaches will get frustrated or not frustrated, but they probably are. I don't know. They be cool about it, but I'm just like, but I'm this and this and this and this, and like, can't I just tie it all together? And like,
Right.
also does help to kind of stay in one lane. So
It,
yeah, it's a real
yeah,
big
and I
challenge.
think part of that speaks to your king of clubs, because your king of clubs, you just have a propensity, as all clubs do, to want to really know and to learn, and you're always immersing yourself in knowledge. And I know that that's one of the things that
Mhm.
just comes through when I speak with you. You know, we talk a lot of astrology together. We geek out on that, and the
Mhm.
systems that we use to interpret and understand and guide us through life are slightly different, but we can also engage in the conversation about, what one system brings versus the other. And then also just
Yes.
when, I have received aromatherapy from you, which is sort of like, am I getting it right if I say it's like acupressure, working
Yeah,
the
it's
meridians?
acupressure and body work.
Yeah, and then all the time, like the knowledge that you have around what certain parts of our body, where I'm like, ow, that hurts, and you're like, oh yeah, that's related to your spleen, and your spleen means, X, Y, or Z. It's just you have a
Hmm.
wealth of knowledge,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and it all wraps into your business. It would be remiss to have an episode on the Jack of Diamonds, which again, the United States of America's birthday is July 4th, same as yours, without talking about independence,
Yeah.
independence,
Freedom.
and the desire for freedom.
Hmm.
Talk to me a little bit about that for you personally, is how that shows up for you. Um, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it might be the reason that I don't have kids because I was just on the fence about it for so long. And it was just like, I don't know, one of those definitely heavy questions. And also, I mean, again, the King of Clubs ties into this because I think that pursuit of knowledge and higher
Mm.
learning like that and the career track kind of took higher precedence. But I would say, and I think maybe like my choice of partnerships possibly could have been my desire for more freedom because maybe I knew they weren't going to last. I don't know. I mean, you got to wonder sometimes.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely have like, I don't know. I used to move a ton when I was younger. Like, I just like, I don't know, change and that freedom and, is
Yeah.
like kind of exciting and needed. And, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if I know how to pinpoint it because I mean I've definitely become more wiser in my ability to love freedom, but like even like I don't own a house because I was like I might move someday like out of this state and I don't want to have to be tied to a house and then I'm like, oh, why didn't I do that?
Right,
Now of
right.
course,
Yeah,
but
it could go around and around. But this is funny because my daughter is also a Jack of Diamonds, and she has been home for the last week. We're filming over Thanksgiving week right now, and she is away at college right now, and she has been blessed to have a roommate who goes home on the weekends. And what's interesting to see is my daughter's own understanding at a very young age, at age 18, the absolute need for solitude, for her alone time, just to be quiet to do what she wants. So she often goes on, solo hikes. And I know that that's something that you do too. You like scamper off into nature, you go on adventures to hot springs, and you could do it solo because it's just like that is the joy of independence in a lot of ways, just being super okay with yourself. But I think that Jack of Diamonds people, and by the way, all the birthdays are in the description of the show here, but they desire um, a need for independence. And it is interesting to see like how does that play out in relationships. And one thing I want to offer you as a little bit of understanding, because you are an astrologer and you understand the energy of Neptune. So Neptune is considered the higher octave of love. It is really universal love card. Your card, the Jack of Diamonds, actually sits in the Uranus Neptune position on the chart. So
mm,
Uranus loves independence, right? And loves like
yeah,
picking things
right.
up and then
Yeah.
Neptune, this idealization. But what is really fascinating is that your life Neptune card is the Queen of Hearts. The Jack of Diamonds is the only card that has the Queen of Hearts who sits in the Neptune position as your Neptune card of life. And it is this like huge idealization of love to the point
Mm,
that, I mean, like perhaps just understanding that maybe in that seeking of the ideal love, like it just it's never quite the perfect fit.
mm.
And so the journey, as we say, the joy of the journey is in the journey and finding that. And it'll be interesting to see what shifts for you as you are now in what I call the wisdom years on the other side of age 45, right? Just barely. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. Mhm.
And see what unfolds if you feel more grounded and settled and just like realizing that perhaps there isn't an ideal person. And relationships are definitely what we make of them, like what we're willing to give and receive, and how we can find somebody who matches our energy. I would say that a Jack of Diamonds definitely needs somebody who is going to um, let them be expansive and let them follow their heart and their desire to be free. So,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely don't want a clingy person. But I mean, it's interesting because I do love like road trips and, time alone. Like it's super important to me. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I just kind of recognized that more this year where I was like having a conversation with a friend, like, who's in partnership. And I was like thinking like, oh, it'd be so nice. And then it came summer again, I'm like thinking it'd be nice to have somebody to go with me. And then when I was going by myself again, I'm like, but I really like being able to have this alone time once again and not have to anyway. So, I need somebody that can balance that, of course.
Yeah,
But
no, I think that, and I think that it's really, really important to understand. So again, if you're the energy of one of these birthdays, to understand that you have this encoding in yourself that really desires some personal freedom and a lot of creative outlets. Like, how do you use your creativity? And honestly, a lot of our creative ideas come when we are alone, when we are in solitude, when we
exactly.
can
Yeah.
connect with our higher self. And I know that that's something that I am learning. I'm a big community energy. I've got that 10, the
Mm.
10 of diamonds being the moon to the jack of diamonds. So I really thrive on big energy, and I am learning in this volume 2 of my life how important it is for me to seek out the solitude. And I do think that that's something that the jack has reflected to me. Jack of Diamonds has meant a lot to me, because my ex-husband is also a Jack of Diamonds, and it's taught me a lot. Like these were the first two cards I think in the entire Magi system that I learned about was my relationship to my ex-husband in this sun-moon connection. And then just understanding that if we ourselves are not expressing our cards, we often find somebody who will reflect that to us, if that makes sense. Like, so in the relationship that I had with my ex, it was I started seeking the freedom that was not allowed, not encouraged, let's just say, outside of the home. So, like, I feel like the Jack has really helped me to understand that that freedom and independence and being alone is a necessary part of the process. I guess that is my long-winded
Hmm.
riff on that.
No, thank you for sharing that. That's really fascinating to know about. Yeah, there's that reflection and how the cards work. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also for us, we do a lot of community events together. We're both here in the same area. We support and encourage one another. And I'm always watching you and seeing what you're doing and wanting the very best for you. Because I know when you're shining, like that is me also reflecting back to you, like what you are offering to the world and your own contribution. And it's so cool because again, like we have two different lenses that we look at astrology through, and it's pretty fascinating. I
That is
wanted
fascinating.
to yeah, the Cancer energy in sidereal astrology, because I remember because the 4th of July is a Cancer, right? Like
In
that's
Western.
in Western.
Western.
So is
Hmm
it's different in
I'm actually a Gemini in sidereal,
and
which I know can sound kind of weird. And then, I mean, if you're so into the system, and then when you might know me as a healer, it's like, oh, that's obviously Cancer. But then, like, I'm a teacher. So,
yeah.
it's very, and I love to write and I love to, yeah. I mean, there's so many Gemini mercurial qualities, right? So, I see myself in both for sure.
That is so cool.
Hmm
That is really neat. Now, I want to remind people who are listening today that we're speaking a lot about the energy of a person who either has it as their birth card or their planetary ruling card. However, in this system, the Jack of Diamonds can also support everybody in their roadmap as a creative outlet to sales, marketing, putting yourself out there, being seen, getting your message out into the world. And so I look at it as like a creative portal to your prosperity if you have the Jack of Diamonds in a prominent position, which I do this year. I have and just one thing about this year, I'm 52 this year, and 52 cards in a deck. 52 is if 5 and a 2 is a 7. It's a spiritual number. It is a triple Jupiter year and a year if you are not quite 52, anybody who is under the age of 52, getting your sights on what you desire to create in your life is like now is the time. Anything, and that includes you, Korenna, right? As you're rising into your 52nd years, just to get so super focused on what you want to bring about. Because we know our thoughts become things and they attract that. But this drive to age 52, because once you do reach age 52, those cards that you have for the year are also amplified. And they say that your environment card, and I'll explain what that means in just a second, of your 52nd year is a huge influence and a huge part of understanding part of your soul growth into this next volume of your life. And dun da da da, my environment card is the Jack of Diamonds. Okay. So when I first learned this, I'm gonna be real. I had some curse words because I was like the Jack of Diamonds. Little bit of a love-hate relationship because of, the dismantling of my marriage and it being my ex-husband's card. It is also my daughter's card, and a lot of people that I love are helping me rewrite this energy. But what it does, the environment card is the card that is blessing you for the year, like it is giving it to you. And I just thought that that was kind of ironic. I'm about halfway through my year, and I'm still like thinking about what this really means because the Jack specifically, it's a face card. It's the first of the face card of the suit of the diamonds. They represent more than anything else, like the people. So when the Jack of Diamonds, like you, Korenna, are a blessing to me this year. My daughter is a
Mhm.
blessing to me this year. I still haven't figured out how my ex is a blessing to me this year. But
Yeah, that's
supposedly
okay.
that's
It's
part of it.
understandable. Yeah,
What's that?
that's okay. Understandable.
Yeah, yeah, baby steps. We're all
Yeah.
all working towards it. But on a bigger level as well, not just the people, it is also the idea of being the salesperson, like putting yourself out there, being seen, allowing creativity to really unlock the flow of abundance. And so I've been meditating on this card, well, for the last 5 years, ever since I was first introduced to the system, and to be living it and to see its powerful role for me this year. It just makes me just contemplate, like how can I use the creative force to propel me forward in life, to really be a blessing in my life, so that I can then serve and be a blessing to others. So stay tuned, as I wrap up my year, I'll probably have more insight on that Jack of Diamonds energy. Let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to share. Is there anything, questions that you have about your own card, or any comments that you would like to share?
Yeah, I just want to share that my mom is also a Jack of Diamonds, and I didn't know that until, we met and or when I was in your class. And I was like, what? Like that blew my mind. I'm like, oh, it made so much sense because there is also, and maybe you can explain this better, there's like a reflection, right?
Yeah.
Of like that we mirror each other back. And so I'd be curious if you want to even share anything too with your daughter and her dad, but that might not be for today.
Yeah,
Who knows? But
no, that is huge.
yeah.
Is there more about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, just the, like, I mean, to be completely honest, like my childhood was quite difficult with my mom. Like that reflection was pretty painful. And I know she was doing the best she could as a very young mom. And, we've really healed our relationship and it's really beautiful now. So,
Mm,
I'm really grateful. And also, like, I really see her ability to sell things. Like, and she is not a salesman, like, and she's retired now and she never was in sales at
yeah.
all. But like when she is like passionate about something, it's just so funny how she just really tries to sell it to everybody in the family or her friends, and that's okay. I mean, it's great and it's so fascinating because at first I was like, I don't know, that's the biggest way I see it playing out for her specifically. So yeah, it's just fascinating. I think some people maybe um are a little bit more the sales person or more the creative person or more the freedom loving. I don't know. I think I have a pretty good blend of all three, to be honest,
Mhm.
even though I feel like I'm growing more into my sales ability, even though obviously I've been in business for, like I said, 13 years, but I feel like that's been really challenging to sell things for a long time. Like, or it's been, I don't know if it was always really challenging. It's just, it gets easier and easier. And the
Yeah.
creativity is what brings the ease more and more and more.
The
But
creativity,
it,
and it sounds like your mom has found like joy when she gets so connected to something, and that is really like that sales
yeah,
idea is
yep,
like you sell it with such ease because it matters so much to you, and you're just like, I just need everybody to
exactly.
know about this,
Yep.
and
And
that
that's what I finally started to realize too. And I'm like, I don't need to be sorry for being annoying or something. Like, I'm just going to be out there and be like, if somebody's for me, then they're for me. If they're not, they can move on. Like, I don't need to like
absolutely.
worry about whatever people think or something. I think there was something about feeling too salesy that it's so fascinating that I had a really big sort of chip about that. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, no, that I mean, and that makes a ton of sense because I mean, to case in point, like I'm not titling this video the salesperson's card because that, yeah, like when we hear salesperson, like oh, we think of used car lot and we think of somebody who's like manipulating. And I will say that the low side of every jack is deception, is deceit, is dishonesty. So, you can see that in like enmesh in the sales person, like at the lower energy frequency of this card. But when it is playful and creative and enjoyable, and it's just like so good, it's like bursting out of you, like, I have to share this. I like to remind people that all that the Jack of Diamonds is letting you have the opportunity to experience is that when you're lit up by something, the sales is authentic. The sharing of your light, your gifts, your services, it is not only authentic, it is needed. You're not doing anybody a service by hiding what you offer. And so the Jack really is like, let's go. Let's show your gifts, let's show your talents, let's showcase what you're excited about. And whether you're an entrepreneur, this works excellent as an entrepreneurial card, and or you're in a position where you are helping to sell. My ex-husband actually is a salesperson, and is brilliant at it. And I think that that's great. But the idea of that connection to joy and like just the enthusiasm when you're like so on board with what you're creating, and that's what I'm seeing in you as you like really share all your astrology and your Eastern medicine practices to help heal others. I see like this, it becomes more authentic. Does that sound about
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And I think just all the different aspects of business, I kind of re-embraced them all over the years and like was like, I'm not gonna do it unless it's fun. Like I create videos because
Yes.
it's fun. Like all of my
Yes.
marketing is fun. And it took me some business coaching to like reframe some of that and to
Yeah,
learn things that made it so that it was fun. But then I was like, oh my God, I mean, I do things that I love to do, like pretty
exactly.
much all fun. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And if it's not fun, like it's time to like step away, rebalance, maybe go into nature, do
Yeah.
the things that you need to do. But to your point about the parent-child dynamic, it's very, very fascinating because as I explained, my daughter and my ex-husband, they're both Jack of Diamonds. My youngest child and I both share the energy of the Four of Spades, which we'll talk about next season. But you do often see that either grandparents and grandchildren or parents and children, that they are truly
Wow.
mirrors of each other. Now, your mom is not born on the 4th of July, though, correct?
No, yeah, she has a different birthday. So yeah,
And
it's cool.
as such, what is her birthday? Just out of
August 2nd.
Oh, okay. So she's a Jack of Diamonds Leo. So
Uh-huh.
your mom's card, like this is her one energy. Both sides of her coin, she doubled down on the Jack of Diamonds energy. And you have, the king as well, that is slightly different. And so maybe your king side can see things, or there can be friction there. But truly, like you said, we are mirrors of each other. And whenever you encounter somebody who shares the exact same birth card as you, or the ruling card, like you share a card, you are there to more profoundly be a reflection because at least the way that I experience it with my youngest is that they get me in ways that my other kids just don't. Like, I don't even need to say things, and it's already done or it's already been handled, been thinking about it. So that is like in a really beautiful way. But then I can also see, like, those things that really irritate me. I'm like, oh, I got to just look back at myself, right? And that's what all relationships do is they help us see what we are attracting because we don't attract what we want, we attract what we are, and for better or for worse, high side and low side. But I love that you have experienced some healing with your mom, and now you can both look into like just how to really be the best versions of yourself in relationship, but also as using the same energy to fuel you forward in your dreams, whether you're retired or not. Creativity is not going to go away for your mom because she's done selling. Like now she can, she has a different kind of liberty and freedom, which I'm sure is lots of fun. But
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
And it's just
Totally.
helpful to know
Oh,
that, right? Like, oh, maybe what
yeah.
irritates me is because you're so similar.
Oh yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
And I do see that. Still, because there's no, again, reflection.
Yeah.
I do have another question though about like you said about the first card of like it being like the people of so there's something about Jack of Diamonds or Jacks being like of the people. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so they say like the jacks, kings, and the queens all have the face cards, and so you also look at the symbology of it, but more than like say a three of spades, and I'm still understanding how this concept faces. It's just something that I've heard. My teacher Robert Lee Camp, who, by the way, is going to be my very special guest next week. So stay tuned for the Queen of Diamonds.
Yay! I'm so
Um,
happy.
yeah, we'll be able to
That's going to
speak
be
about
amazing.
that queen. And so this might even be a question that I can ask him to explain in greater detail because I see all the cards as representatives of people. So when especially if it's a close relationship, one of your inner circle people, and if you're looking at your roadmap and you see that card, you know that that person is playing a role for you or an influence for you. But perhaps originally, when the system was just being reintroduced and people are understanding it, the face cards were taken as definite representations of people. So the jacks, kings, and queens, and the jacks are the initiates
Yes.
into the mastery of that are the king and the queen on the throne. Um, so yeah, the jacks almost always jacks, kings, and queens can definitely represent a person. Um, but for me, it's really hard to disconnect that from like I see whenever I look at my cards, I immediately the first thing I do is if I know a person that day, and it often shows up that way. Like I'll have a Jack of Clubs day, for example, and at the end of my day, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just hung out with my friend. Oh, who happens to be a Jack of Clubs, and it can show up like that, but it can also be a two of diamonds person or whatever. Um, so there's a nebulous answer for you. You're welcome. Didn't fully understand
Yeah,
it. But there are
I'm.
definitely people who
Oh,
also decode, like with the jacks, there is the jack of spades is a one-eyed jack. Let me see if I can find that, which can, and the jack of hearts, I think, is a one-eyed. And so they have more of a blind spot, like you look at the actual face and the symbology of the card. I don't do as much of that. As some people do, but here's the one of the one-eyed jacks. Jack of diamonds has both eyes. Jack of clubs has both, but the jack of spades and hearts, they both have they're the one-eyed willies.
I remembered one of them did, but I didn't remember about the other one. So just about being, so I have like this really strong feeling of being of service to people. So I wonder if that is something that all of the Jack, Queen, and Kings feel, because I feel very much like I have to be of service. And even if that means that I'm not doing my business, I mean, in whatever way, it's just a really strong drive to be there for the people, like for the masses, like big. you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you are you are a jack and a king, and in the middle of that is the queen. When I think of like the mastery of all the cards, like these are the three cards that are the highest of the suit. The one that I associate most with the word service is the queen, which is interesting because you are not by birth card a queen, but you have that sense like the kings have the responsibility, the leadership, the authority. The jacks have the creative, fun, playful, like let's elevate ourselves to these higher realms. And then the queen just sits in self-mastery or in the mastery of the suit, and she serves. So perhaps because you are somewhere sandwiched in between these, that creates that service, but also understanding that when you are selling a product, even if it's your own services, you are selling or offering in exchange for monetary compensation your service, your contribution. You are, so there is maybe that from that angle is where the service resonates with you. And truly that's what it is. You are contributing your gifts, your light, your ability to heal, your ability to connect, your ability to reflect somebody's soul essence for you personally. That is what you are sharing when you promote yourself, when you put yourself out there and when you sell yourself. And it just never sounds right to say it that way, but I hope that part of this conversation helps people to understand that sales one is not a negative thing. It's truly offering of services. Um, so you get that.
Yeah,
I think you totally get that. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, so beautiful. Good
Yeah.
reframe for sure. Yeah.
Well, I am going to put a link in the description to Korenna Aster, her astrology channel over on YouTube, where she gives the weekly forecast again from this different perspective of Chinese astrology. So fun also to understand the animals and the elements and the way that she expresses that. So if you're looking for just a broadening of your astrological sphere and understanding of yourself, please check out her YouTube channel. Is there anything else you want people to know about? I know, like you said,
Yeah,
you always
thank you
have
so
something new
much.
going on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I do acupressure and body work locally, so that's, my other big passion is Chinese medicine and helping people heal and yeah, other ways too. But yeah, you can find my website. It's blueheronholistichealth.com, or maybe you can put that in there
Yep,
as well.
it'll
But
be in the
yeah,
show
for
notes.
all the other information and yeah. Um, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been really fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun to get to chat with you, and I just thank you for taking time out of your day to reflect a little bit on your energy and what it means to be a Jack of Diamonds and as a representative of the United States of America.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for
Hopefully I
doing your
get
your
a
service
little
and
bit
your
better of,
duty to
yeah,
the world.
hopefully I make a little bit of a better, yeah, avatar
Right.
than some of like the ideas that people have, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Listen, we're not going to go
Uh,
there today, but
right.
so grateful for you. And
Mhm.
come back, like I said, next week for a really inspiring conversation with my teacher, Robert Lee Camp, who has been a champion of getting this knowledge into the hands of everybody in this day and age so that we have another really helpful spiritual tool that helps align us with our authenticity and brings forth our gifts and creative talents, such as that Jack of Diamonds, creative card of prosperity and abundance. So come back then. Until then, here is to love and joy in the journey. Thanks for being here. Ciao for now.